What is going on YouTube? This is Kai. We're back with another video after so long, for God knows how long it is. And yeah, we're back with another deck profile video. I was being busy around, and of course I'm still not gonna miss any weekly tournaments in our local shops, or as we call it, the ranking tournaments. So I still get to join every single week, every single Sunday, and of course Saturday we have other card games tournament or Vanguard's One Piece card games, and next time we'll decide whether to show that. Anyway, today we're talking about the new decks that will survive the October ban list, which is Labyrinth. And of course this deck has been very consistently appearing a lot in the pie charts in the weekly metagame breakdowns. It's a very consistent deck and of course very solid. The ceiling is of course not that high, but it is a threat to begin with. Of course, a lot of people still hate playing this deck because it's a trap deck. Also, this has a lot of things that can't be stopped just by a single hand trap and so on. So I decided to do this, and without further ado, let's go into the profile. So this deck doesn't belong to me. It belongs to a friend, Calvin, and he borrowed me this deck to help me build him adapt to these environments, to this metagame in our locals. So I decided to do just that, and also making a deck profile which is easier for him to understand, or people that willing to test this deck, feel free to do so. And of course we play the 1 and the 2. We call it this the big sis and the second sister. We give them the nicknames. Of course you still needed the 1 because ripping opponent's hand is really good in this format, especially if opponent doesn't do anything to you. You rip his hand, you know what he's playing, and of course this is your consistency piece. This is how you play your endurance. Of course you only need 2, you don't need the third one. By the time you third one shot, your opponent's probably dead. And of course the new addition, which is 2 Arias the Butler. And for you guys who don't know what this card does, is during either player's main phase you can send this card from hand to the field, and if you do, you can special summon 1 Labyrinth from the hand or 1 normal trap from hand, set it to the field, and you can activate that trap during this specific turns, which is really insane with the correct hand trap at the moment. And also the second effect is if your Labyrinth cards or normal trap is chained by your opponent's effects, you can special discard from the graveyard, which really came up, especially if you needed a monster on your field in order for your clock tower to work. And also with the correct trap at your hand during your opponent's turn, you can interrupt during turn 0, which is also insane. That's why this is a recent card to see play in the deck. And of course the consistency card would be 3 Ariana, no Arianis because this is much more better. And of course both does the similar things. Of course you need 3. And for the furnitures, you're gonna max out the furnitures except for the clock, you only need 2. And also be mind that the clock needed a Labyrinth monster on the field in order to activate. If you have no monster on the field, of course you can't activate this for free, and that would be insane. Of course 3, 3, 2, this is the perfect ratios set during opponent's end phase to get your stuff and keep it going every single turn. And for the monsters, the hand trap will be the last monster after the deck. 3 Ash and 3 Maxis, that's all you need. And there's not too much to say about this. I sometimes cut out the Ash for something else, especially after Side Angle second, I will cut this for something else, or I would just cut like 1-on-1 for something else. That's all for the main monster lineups. For the spells, just simple the field spell and 3 Extravagance. No Prosperity because Prosperity is at 1, and you need to bait something out as much because Prosperity is 1-to-1. This is of course 1-to-2, and this is like it's a decision making. If you activate this during the beginning of main phase, your opponent chooses one of the Ash or not. If they draw, of course it doesn't matter, this deck doesn't lose to draw. If they Ash this, they have to deal with the welcome and big welcome during the following. And if they don't Ash this, of course you're gonna draw 2 everything the turn. So this is good. And for the traps, of course the welcomes, 3 big welcomes and 2 welcomes, and you only need 2 because it summons from the deck. But by the time if your decks have no more Labyrinth monsters, this card doesn't do much anymore. But big welcome you can summon from the grave or anywhere, which is kind of insane. And also this is useful at the grave as well. If your opponent's if your monster is leave the field by your normal traps, you can set this in the graveyard, and also it's chain block, so sometimes you need it in the graveyard or you can use it as well. And this is also interruption because you can banish it and bounce the monsters, which is really nice. Also, you can bounce yourself if you want to like dodge the targeting effects, imperm, etc. anyways. And of course, one of the best card in the deck right now, Transcension Rollback. This card is just insane. It's copy any normal traps in your graveyard if it's in your graveyard by paying half a life points. The half a life point doesn't really matters because you don't care about your life points. You just wanted to like grind everything you want. You want your resources. Of course, it is a pain to pay half life points, but it is still more pain to have nothing to resolve for your stuff. And you can copy a lot of things. So, which is why we play this. And the triple imperm, of course, you not set the normal traps. You can. This card is easily good against Sky Strikers, and if they set up the multi-hero and you have normal traps activated, and you can chain 2 of the second sis to set the imperm on the multi-hero zone, and during your own turn, back to your own turns, or during your turn you set this. During your opponent's turn, you can negate their Kagari and their multi-heroes, or even Shizuku and their multi-heroes to make their lose 2 of the resources. It didn't came up in the game, but it will comes up a lot, especially when people notice that you can set imperm in the directly which column that they wanted. And the punishment, of course, we play the punishments by only one because it's once per turn. We have another best card that makes us realize that we need to cut this to 1 in order to play. This is the last 2 cards, which is the Dharma Cannon. This card is just super good in this format, especially against decks like Sorcerers, Rescuers, Centurions. You flip this, they flip all their monster face down. They can synchro, they can do anything, they can do more extents except like maybe pass a turn if you fight against Centurion or Horus. And also good against Rescuers, they summon Turbulence, you open this, you have to set all their monsters face down, and if they already use the emergencies or they don't, you have to pass turn. And also this card is not once per turn. If you have 2, of course you can open multiples. That's why we decided to cut the punishment for this. And also set this in turn 0 by the Butler Arias is also insane. You discard it, set this, and then open and flip the opponent's monsters. And then also crucial against RS, if their monster all face down, they can't use their RS trap anymore because they require an RS monster on the field, so they can't contain or extinguish. All they can do is just use their other stuff to stop it, which is really insane. And so for the main decks, 40 cards nonetheless. And for the extra decks, is the part there maybe that won't come up that much often, but I still gotta take it anyways. The Death Reporter, this is generic for Fiend types and also prevents destructions, a lot of stuff. And the Link Climb targets will be this, and this is because you're all dark, and this is just for the purely matchup sometimes. If you can't stop it, you can use this. And yeah, it doesn't came up that much. The more, and this field also doesn't really came up. This is just in case. And of course this is for the furnitures and your big level monsters. You can make this. And for the punishment target, this is a little bit gimmicky. We decided to play, and since we already play Extravagance, it does came up, it does not. So and since we play punishments, of course you have to play Entus. Not much to say about it. And the 1 Omega, this is for recursion, sometimes you needed it. And for the special targets would be the Link 5, Chimera, and the Garula. So the Link, this is how it works. For Link 5's effects is when this card is sent to the graveyard, you can send one Beast Warrior, or Wing Beast from the extra deck to the graveyard. You can send either of these. If you want to draw a card, you can send the Garula. And you need like recursion or special or free reviving, you can send the Chimera, because Chimera says during your opponent's turn you can banish this card from the graveyard. You can special summon a Beast, Fiend, or Illusionist monster from your graveyard. So all your library's monsters are all Fiend. You can use this to revive them back if there somehow happens in the graveyard. So you can keep on like bring back your library for resources. Also to make sure your monster have library monster and a normal trait that's set during these turns by sending the Clock Tower and use it right at the moment. So these 3 are like, then this is a new interactions. We should have played the super poly targets, but in the end we just can't find the slots. And also it's not that good in our opinion to play super polys because you like heavy discard it and you need to probably to discard as well. So in the end we just choose to decide not to play super poly targets. And for the side decks is like following our locals meta games. Like we have a lot of Rescuers, Orcas, Sky Strikers, Trap Tricks, Labyrinth. These are the most common ones. We don't have much purity, but we still precaution about it because purity is just insane in this format. And the Prankatups for going second, extra body just because. And the free Lava Golems, this is for a lot of decks like Sword Souls, and we still have tier elements if that's surprised by you. Rescuers as well, if they make like the full burst of the Heralds, the full armors, and the Turbulence, you can still send this to clear off the Turbulence and the full armors, or you just kill off the full armor and Heralds, which is either way is fine. And it's a fiend, so why not? And Tunibiru, this is for combo decks. A lot of combo decks, you throw this, you automatically win, especially against Labyrinth. They lose their resources to drag game. One Duster for mirror match and back row decks, of course. 3 Solemns because we're still frightening of the evenly match Dusters, etc. So we need to play this. And for the one-off targets, we play Arias the Butler, so of course we play one-off. Destruction Virus, Pointer, Skill Drain, Evenly, and Dimension Ground. This would be a very weird one because why would you play just one evenly? Why don't you just play more? And yes, we decided to play more by making these 2 is evenly and these 3 just the one-off. For this we were playing the Epidemic, the other virus, but as it turns out our locals doesn't have runics anymore, so we don't necessarily have to use the other virus. Of course against Strike Striker you wanted to play that virus as well, but this deck doesn't lose that much to Sky Striker, easily to play off as Sky Striker. But of course if you use this, they lost their race if they have one in their hand, and now the Sky Striker in our format play heavy hand traps, they open this and they just automatically lose it. And also because this deck doesn't lose to hand trap on turn 1, basically turn 1 you just set all your back rows and pass turn, all your hand traps are going to be useless. And if you flip this and they reveal all their hands and hand traps, means that they are short on Sky Striker spells. They are all loose at the moment. And skill drain, this is just broken. And Dimension Ground, why not? And yeah. Well, that's it for the deck profile. Hope you guys enjoy it, and if you guys got any comments or anything you want to let me know, be sure to let me know down in the comments below. I'll take your advice and do whatever the deck profiles needed, and I'll be back with another videos like for our first and second place Rescue Ace deck profile. Be sure to stay tuned, and we'll see you guys next time.